Hey guys, today I'm going to read you the book, After the Fall, How Humpty Dumpty Got Back Up Again. Now, this book is based on the nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty. A nursery rhyme is a short rhyme for children that tells a story, and a lot of times they're set to music. Now, one of the skills we're working on this week is the plot of the story, which has to do with the character, setting, problem, solution. A lot of times we write a summary of the plot, the beginning, middle, and end of a story. But this week we're focusing on the problem and solution. And the plot of the story is a lot like a roller coaster, where we have events that lead up to the most important event, or a lot of times the most exciting event, which is why it's at the top of the roller coaster. And then we have events that happen afterwards. So, after the fall, how Humpty Dumpty got back up again. My name is Humpty Dumpty. This was my favorite spot, high up on the wall. I know it's an odd place for an egg to be, but I loved being close to the birds. Then one day I fell. I'm sort of famous for that part. Folks called it the Great Fall, which sounds a little grand. It was just an accident, but it changed my life. Fortunately, all the king's men managed to put me back together. But there were some parts that couldn't be healed with bandages and glue. Now I want you to look at this picture real quick. What parts of him do you think couldn't be healed with bandages and glue? After that day, I became afraid of heights. Maybe that's a part of him that couldn't be healed, do you think? I was so scared that it kept me from enjoying some of my favorite things. I walked past the wall every day, and I would think about climbing that ladder again. I really missed the birds and being high above the city. But I could never do it, because I knew that accidents can happen. I think maybe he was afraid that the same accident would happen again. I eventually settled for watching the birds from the ground. It wasn't the same, but it was better than nothing. Then one day, an idea flew by. There's a paper airplane there. Making planes was harder than I thought. It was easy to get cuts and scratches, but day after day I kept trying and trying. I don't know, it looks like he's getting pretty frustrated here. Until I got it just right. My plane was perfect and it flew like nothing could stop it. I hadn't felt that happy in a long time. It wasn't the same as being up in the sky with the birds, but it was close enough. He even painted or colored his plane to look like a bird. Unfortunately, accidents happen. Oh no. What do you think happened? They always do. It looks like his plane is flying over the tall wall that he used to sit up on. I almost walked away again, but then I thought about all the time I'd spent working on my plane and all the other things I'd missed. I decided I was going to climb that wall. But the higher I got, the more nervous I felt. I didn't want to admit it. I was terrified. I didn't look up. I didn't look down. I just kept climbing one step at a time. So I think that's important. Just because you're scared of something doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. But just take one step at a time. Just focus on what you're doing. Let's see what happens. Until I was no longer afraid. I love this picture. I love how happy and joyous he looks when he finally makes it to the top of the wall. maybe now you won't think of me as that egg who was famous for falling. Hopefully you'll remember me as the egg who got back up. Look. He's free of his fears. I love it. And learned how to fly.